Hello and welcome to the Destiny Community Podcast. Hey, the servers are still working, so it didn't all go to shit.
Love that.
No good?
Like,
Too
hello.
much?
Hi. Hello.
How are you?
How
is
are
back?
you?
Ooh,
I'm
What's his
here. Kind
What's
of.
is here?
Slightly.
She's on Australian time zone. Let's go.
She's
I
back.
am.
Her soul is still catching up, though. It's somewhere over the Pacific.
It's it's been a week. Exactly. I arrived home last week. And so first of all, it was a whole thing. So we ended up, if you don't know, you can bring on $800 worth of personal stuff from another country back to America. So if you've brought in over 800, you just have to go and show the cops, basically.
The feds.
You got to show the
Tefty.
feds what
Did you see Tefty at the airport?
We got to go see Tefty at the airport and show him what you bought. And they have to look for a category. And you basically, most of the time you end up paying nothing, or you'll end up paying like $10. It's basically nothing. So Tomo ended up getting some expensive stuff in Japan because the yen is crashing as we speak.
Oh,
it's
really?
so cheap over there.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
As an example, so we were wondering whether we'd be able to get a taxi from the hotel to the airport and airport to the hotel. And people were like, it's like $250 to $300. And we're like, ooh, don't know about that. But we were so tired, we're like, screw it. It's $50.
Really?
It's $50
Wow.
right now. It is so much cheaper to do everything. It's crazy. So we basically spent 45 minutes with cops going, so Japan, of all places, why would you go there?
He's like,
Did you say, have you seen me fucking hair? I like anime.
I'm like,
I was like, hello.
We're both wearing anime shirts, holding a katana. Bro, what are you
I got
doing?
glow sticks. No. What do you mean? Oh God. And then Tomo was like, yeah, it's the first time since COVID. And he's like, what's that? I'm like, okay.
Who said what's that?
The cop.
The cop said, what's COVID?
If you don't know, COVID-19 took out a lot of cops in America. Now, I'm not going to say why that might be, but a lot of cops died to COVID at its peak. So I was just standing there like, please, dear God, just let me go. I want to go. I want to go home.
That's what I say when I'm around cops, too. Oh, please,
I was
God,
this close
let
to
me
being
go.
like, how many of your comrades did you lose? But I don't want to get shot or go to jail. So I just kept going. But then when we finally got home,
You get all your anime back home, all right?
I didn't say that I had any things. I'm pretty sure my stuff was like $700. So we just did Tomo's jacket. And they're standing there like, it's a puffer jacket. They're like, what material is this? What would you use this for? The rain?
Cocaine.
Okay.
It's made out of cocaine.
Look at it. So there was one point, there's like 5 cops there being like, what country is this? What tax thing would this be? One of them gave a completely wrong tax information for them to put in the system because it was saying that we needed to owe like $70. And another guy's like, a woman came through here with a $7,000 purse and paid $7. I don't think these guys are paying $70. So anyway, that was really fun.
Okay.
And then, then I got news that power was out at our house as we were traveling back home.
Lovely.
And then power came on just long enough for us to realize that our furnace is broken.
Oh, no.
Does a furnace need power to work? I guess it depends on the
Yes.
furnace, right?
Yeah, the furnace does we have the fire, luckily. So we had to wait from Thursday to Monday to get the furnace fixed. But luckily we have the fire and that works fine.
Nice.
But yeah, it was like 50 degrees when we got home.
Love that.
So that wasn't fun. So yeah, and I'm sick, 16-hour time difference. You got the whole thing of
So
like, you need
everything's
to
going right.
rest because you're sick, but if you rest too much, your back's going to break. So I'm just trying to not die every day. I'm fighting for my life.
Jeez.
It's fun. Don't go. Don't leave. Don't go anywhere. Don't go on vacation. It's too much work.
That's honestly how I feel a lot of the time about traveling.
Right.
You're like,
I do like Japan though. Every time I've been to Japan, it's
it's
a fun place.
like it's an incredible. And you get back, and you're like, I'm never leaving again. It's been a week, and I
Yeah.
still feel like crap. Also, yeah, I haven't been anywhere in a long time. I've aged since then. So,
Oh.
maybe it's taking longer because I'm an old lady.
Could be.
Awesome.
He'll
that.
sneak up on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're out walking all day, you get home like, oh, why's me knees hurt? Why's me back? I was like, I've been walking.
Yeah, I noticed that
I've been
in
doing
Japan.
Normal
I was
things.
like,
That's what.
I can tell I've aged since last time I was here. It gets to 7 p.m. and I'm like, can we go to bed? I'm tired. Oh, jeez. Yeah,
Well, it's good to have you back.
It's
Yeah,
good
no
to be
doubt.
back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, there's been a bit of a self-implosion at Bungie in the meantime.
Yeah, that was fun. Being in
Yeah.
Japan and being like,
Eh?
what?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do we go home? Is it safe?
Yeah, maybe we should just stay here. Do you need to look for a job here? No, I need to go find look somewhere. We could do it while we're here.
Is Capcom hiring?
Yeah.
Well,
Nice.
how's
Yes.
everybody else doing? TV, it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah, we're doing good. Life's good. Busy,
We've
but
had-
good. It's like that time of year where all the kids have a million things going on,
Yeah.
But I kind of had a cool little adventure recently in the midst of all that chaos. But I got like an email from one of the viewers of this show here at DCP.
Mm.
And he said, "Hey, I was just listening to DCP and I heard you say you like whiskey. I happen to be a distillery manager at one of the largest distilleries and oldest distilleries in America.
Wow.
Do you want to come down?" I was like, yeah.
Wow.
So we went down to Jim Beam. So me and a couple of buddies, and we spent the weekend there, and they treated us way better than we deserve on like
Nice.
off days. They're not open to the public, and they took us through like
Wow.
private distilleries that are all never open to the public. We got our free reign of bottles that we would want to buy without having to fight the crowds and the lines for the highly allocated stuff. It was pretty freaking cool.
Nice.
So
Wow, that's awesome.
so Harry, if you're listening to the show this week, thank you, because that was like
Yeah.
super freaking awesome. Me and all my buds were like on cloud 9 that weekend. So
That's
thank
killer. So
Yeah, that's
do they
awesome.
make
Thank
like
you.
other kinds of whiskey like at big distilleries like that? So like smaller brands would get their whiskey made by Jim Beam and then bottled in their bottle?
So yeah, so a lot of big distilleries will do contract distilling where a lot of the problem is if you want to start a distillery, you're like, hey, I want to start a distillery, and then that means that you can't actually sell whiskey because it has to be aged.
Yeah.
I can't sell product until 4 years from now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's like,
So,
let's look at your business plan. Okay, so I'm gonna start making money in
yeah.
hopefully in 4 years' time.
So, but Beam they don't themselves do a lot of contract distilling. They're pretty much just all in house. But they're partnered up with Suntory in Japan. So it's Beam Suntory. So the two of them,
Nice.
they kind of got everything they need going right there between several campuses. So
Wow.
yeah, real cool stuff.
That's awesome.
Nice. This week I did a interesting interview with Lorraine McLeese, who formerly Bungie, started work there in 1998.
Wow.
And was
a long
part of the layoffs. We had a chat on Twitch for like 3 hours. I did upload it to YouTube, so you can go and watch if you want to hear it. But she reached out to me because obviously it was a bit of a shock, and I offered if she ever just wanted to sort of rant and rave and debrief, she could do that. And she suggested that she might help chatting on Twitch. I'm like, sure, yeah, if you think that will help, sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was pretty therapeutic. I think it was. We just focused on her career, which is insane. Like
Yeah.
she's like one of these people that will like randomly mention shit. You're like, hold on, can you go back to Steve
Time
Jobs
out.
and Macworld when you developed the Halo logo just for 1 sec? I mean, like even before we got to Halo, like I didn't even know this. Correct my pronunciation. Is it Evangelion? What's the anime?
Evangelion.
Evangelion.
Yeah.
She did like the box art, the VHS for all the American distribution.
No kid.
That was her like
That's pretty cool.
Amazing. That's amazing.
She was art director
Wow.
for
That's incredible.
American distribution of that. Like insane. And she's so involved with the most iconic shit you can think of when it comes to anything that Bungie's touched. And it was nice to, obviously sad but nice, but like I think it was good for a lot of people. Just to hear it from Lorraine. I guess that's why she reached out, because obviously a lot of anger in the community, and it's nice to hear it from someone who was left. And obviously she's in a a good position. She's had a good job for a long time, and her husband's got a good job. So, it's different from other people who've been laid off that are in some like financial strife. But
right.
At the same time, it's still like a massive shock to lose your workplace that you've been. She's like doing her resume. I'm like, Lorraine, you got to put this in the resume. I'll put that in your resume.
Sounds like her resume would be like 10 pages long if she put everything in.
Right.
I was like, just link him to this video. Because she ended up digging up a whole bunch of files, and she messaged them to me on Discord, and I showed chat as well. So we had some cool, like lots of little Easter eggs about Halo and Destiny, or mostly Halo actually. Like its code name being like Monkey Nuts and stuff like that, and like the oddball
skins. Isn't that the band that you went and saw, Watts, in Japan? Monkey Nuts?
No, Creepy Nuts.
Oh,
Creepy Nuts. So yeah, it was a really good time. And apart from that, I haven't covered the layoffs, and then we had a little bit of a Destiny lore end of the season, I guess, epilogue. I think this probably would have been the last thing to happen before the season sort of wrapped up. So I did jump back in and have a quick look at that. Yeah, that's my week.
Nice. I've been doing
What about you, bro?
I've been at war with the neighbor. He got himself a new vacuum cleaner for all the leaves, so he's going up and down his lawn every day with a vacuum cleaner. A vacuum. Cleaning up every leaf. Right? That's what I'm saying. TV, we understand each other. I like that. So, like, you walk by his house, it looks like a carpet over there. My
Immaculate.
house, like a half a day, you got like hundreds of leaves on your lawn. I'm like, this guy, and he's out there every day.
I don't touch the leaves.
I think I'm gonna pour some sugar in his gas tank or something.
Yeah,
he's using
would blame you.
No, I don't.
He's using is he using a blower, or is he like
he's using a sucker?
Blower?
No, it's a sucker.
Blower,
Vacuums it. It hooks to the back of his mower and vacuums up all the leaves.
He's vacuuming leaves up off the front lawn.
Yeah, every day.
What time?
I don't know. Midday.
What time?
Midday.
What? Well, that's okay. Why are you getting angry for? This is annoying.
He's making Briar look bad.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's the standard that he's setting.
Fuck that guy.
He's setting a standard for the neighborhood, and then everyone's like, "Oh, so now I have to do that."
Right.
Yeah.
Fucking curb washer.
I don't personally feel like that. I'm like, the leaves are falling. It's part of the season. I'm embracing the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it kills all your grass if you just leave it there.
Yeah, screw it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like out there raking on Saturday because I've got a ton of trees on our property, and 3 of them are like these, 50-foot tall river birches that just dump leaves.
Yeah.
It's a ton. And my wife was like, "Hey, isn't it like better for the grass if you don't rake those up?" I was like, I wish. I would not be out here if that was the case.
Just chop them up with the mower and leave them till spring.
Yeah. Hey, you want neighbor wars? I got a lady 2 houses down. It's like the weirdest psychopath behavior. But she walks her dog every day. She walks her dog every day, like twice a day. And I don't know if the dog just doesn't poop at home or what, but it always poops on the walk. And this lady will bag it and then throw the bag into whatever yard they're in front of.
Are you kidding me?
So I'm like,
what kind of psychopath is just slinging shit around the neighborhood?
What?
One,
call the cops.
If you're gonna leave it there, why are you bagging it to begin with?
Yeah, right. You're just now you're creating like a non-biodegradable bag of shit.
So I've been finding these bags while I'm doing my walks. I'm like, what? Who's doing this? It's like the same kind of bag in all these different yards. And so I got a little petty about it. So I repositioned the cameras on my house.
Yeah.
So I can see the sidewalks.
Did you yell at her?
I caught her doing it. So now I knew who it was.
Yeah.
And then I got lucky. I was pulling out of the neighborhood, and right as I rounded the corner, because we live on a curved street, I see her yeeting a bag into my buddy's yard. And boy, I hit those brakes on that minivan. Papa TV come walking on out of there. I was like, "You gotta pick that up." She was like, "Well, I'm gonna get it on my way back." I'm like, "No, you gotta get it right now."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and she had some not nice words to say to me, but she did. She picked it up and took it back to her house. But now she's still doing it, but she's putting it like right by people's mailbox posts, hoping they
Why
don't
doesn't
see.
she just bring it home?
This is little
I don't
psychopath
get it.
behavior, dude.
Yeah. Why are you leaving
I
this on?
imagine she doesn't want to walk with it. So she's like, "Oh, I'll leave it here for someone else to put in their bin."
Like,
Yeah,
if you
is that
can't
what-
pick up
is
after
that
dog,
her-
leave the dog at home. Like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Jesus.
That's strange.
You're a
I
hero,
would,
TV. You're a hero.
Yeah.
So yeah, on one of
Agreed.
our cameras, we can set off an alarm if we see something.
Like
I
an
would set off
external,
the alarm.
like whoop,
Yes.
whoop. Nice.
Yes. That's what I would do.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
what? Like this is the poo police. Pick up your dog shit.
This is HOA.
Well,
Yeah,
You will
I
be
would
fined
abuse that alarm.
$2,000.
I would abuse that. Every time somebody walked by, I'd be like, doot doot.
Yeah, all my neighbors are too passive to say anything. So if they catch her do it, they always text me like, "Oh, she did it. She dropped."
Yeah.
Collect
know,
them,
you might be
go
right.
to her house, and
Watts,
put
I
a
think
pile
I think
in
TV
front.
ought to send that to the cops and be like, look at this lady. She's throwing bags of shit in everybody's yard.
She's doing bio warfare.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the cops are probably not going to do anything except they'll probably come talk to her at least. And I am by no means a proponent of calling the cops. But once you start slinging bags of poop into my yard, by God, there's laws for a reason, lady.
It's freaking weird.
That's really strange.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really strange.
I don't
I
have
don't
any
get
bad
that.
neighbor stories. I've been very lucky. Actually, no, I do. I do have a bad neighbor story.
In your new place?
Not the new place, thankfully.
Okay. Ooh, good.
Old house. It was a duplex. I assume you guys call it duplex too, where you have like a shared driveway and you have like a house in the
Yeah.
front and a house in the back.
Yep.
Yeah. The lady in the house at the front was a little old lady, never had any issues. But towards the end of where we moved out of there, we discovered that she had dementia and it was getting quite bad.
Hmm.
And one of the things that started happening was she liked feeding the birds. I've got a photo of it. So she would feed pigeons, right? And then the pigeons told all their mates. And I shit you not, there were like 100+ pigeons on her roof. And obviously, as we're right next to it, like they're just pooping everywhere. Like our
Yeah.
aircon unit sits on top of the thing, was just covered in bird poop. And we're like, obviously I have the ladies her daughter-in-law. I have her number, like, because she gets scared if you confront her and stuff like that, right? So I wasn't gonna be like, hey, get up there, like she's got
Right.
dementia and stuff. So like I go there, I was like, yeah, can you tell? Like I at first I thought, old lady, like got dementia, let her have her thing. But it's
Yeah.
kind of like we've got the entire flock in the neighborhood. Like
Right.
it's not just like a couple of birds, it's like hundreds of birds. And I can see them from like my backyard, and they're kind of getting to the point of being destructive because of how much like pooping they're doing. So eventually we solved that. And she's like, sorry, she forgets she feeds them, so she just keeps feeding them. So that's why it was just getting
Yeah.
out of control. And then when we moved out, like I warned them, that we would take up the driveway with the moving truck, because I've got a truck license, so we just hire a truck and park it there and get our gear out. And she obviously had forgot, and she went like ballistic, just like in this, you're not doing that. What are you doing? We're like, oh, we're gonna be out, and it's like, no, you're not doing that. And like it was our last load of the day, like our last like getting the furniture off. So we like left it at the bottom of the street, and then just like walked the last bits and pieces down. And then of course my dad like had a stack on the driveway because there was like a brick loose or whatever, like rolled his ankle really bad.
Ah.
And I
Oh,
was
no.
like, oh man. I was like, oh God, I hope our new neighbors are really friendly and nice.
Right.
Yeah. There you go. Neighbor story.
Well, should we talk about some Destiny?
Yeah.
Nah.
Nah.
Well, Mylan's the only one that knows what's going on with the story.
Well, I was gonna say we got like sort of a double feature tonight. We got the sort of wrap up for this season and the sort of transition into the next one, which was probably gonna be mostly Mylan's thing. And then we got that fat juicy twab,
Yeah,
which is
twab.
It's a big twab, and the PvP community is pretty split on it.
Yeah,
Is
they
it really?
are.
Really?
They are indeed.
Right.
Really?
Let's
Okay,
talk about that first. Why are they split on it?
Well, we'd have to read it first.
We gotta read the
so
whole
you
thing.
gotta-
It's very long.
I mean, there's like the first part of it, they just like recap. Yes.
When you're away, Lego gave us the cliff notes, and Briar and I really enjoyed it. You know,
We've been spoiled by the notes.
Well, there's a lot that you can skip because they do the
Yeah, for sure.
recapping, like they look at what they've done to checkmate and matchmaking already. So really the thing that's kind of splitting people are so I'll just talk about the things that seem to be splitting people. It seems to be the focusing of engrams and the changes that they're doing to modes. That's like most of the discussion that I've seen that's splitting people.
Okay.
So if we look at what they're doing to playlists, first of all, so they're changing all the playlists up. So in the Crucible menu, they're reintroducing a new 3v3 quick play node. This is going to prioritize connection and latency. No SBMM at all. It's going to rotate between elimination and showdown, and trials will take over this node when it's active.
I hope that this is like really reminiscent of like back in D1. I loved skirmish and salvage were on a rotator, and that was connection based matchmaking 3v3 in year one of Destiny 1, and it was like my favorite thing to do back then. In fact, some of the guys that I'm now still friends with, I met because the player pool was actually not too big back then.
Yeah.
And so that 3v3 playlist tended to get a lot of the same names in it. And so you'd be playing with these guys day after day after day until eventually you just send them, GG messages, and then it's like, hey, do you want to like team up? So I've actually got some friends today, Battle Ready and Jack Taddy, if they're listening this week. We met doing that back in D1. So I kind of hope that it brings back those vibes. It was always really playful and casual, and people were bringing interesting playstyles and loadouts to that playlist. Because it wasn't SBMM, people didn't seem to care as much. You didn't go into it expecting it to be a really tough fight. So because of that, you weren't always going into it with all your best stuff all the time. You could be a little bit more flippant about it and have some fun. So hopefully that's the thing from this TWAB that I think am the most hopeful about.
I think this is the thing that most people are like, that sound good. No problems here. Yeah. And then everyone's like, boo, or mixed for the rest of it.
Yeah.
3v3 ranked, pretty much the same as what it's always been, but they do give an example here of if you are an adept skill player who is platinum, you will be playing other platinum ranked players. However, if an adept skill player is at silver, which is significantly lower than their skill, they will be playing gold rank or platinum rank games. This is better. I'm just like, I still don't understand why we have a ranked mode and we're not just matching based on rank. That's the whole fun thing of playing ranked, is that you get to see yourself going through the ranks and getting higher. So if you're just like, you must always play plat players, even if you're bronze.
Yeah. I just don't know what was wrong with the, I know this is a bit of a throwback, but just the 1 to 50 scale back in Halo 3.
Yeah, that was good.
We all got down with it. We all vibed with it, and there was no such thing as being a silver ranked player who was the skill level of a platinum, because you breezed right through those. There were sometimes because of the way that system measured skill, like you could jump up 3 or 4 ranks in a single match if you played really well. Like especially if you're doing the Lone Wolves playlist and you're getting first place, not second or third, but you're getting first place consistently. You're not staying down those lower ranks for more than a handful of matches, and it's already got you up in the 20s. It's getting a little bit stiffer, and then next thing you know, you hit that like hard wall at 40, and then it's a real grind to prove yourself to make it to the top. I don't know. I thought that system was pretty solid.
I liked it too. I also liked how you had to find like defined grading. So even if you were like at your limit, like you're hitting your peak at 40, if you hit 41, that felt great, right? And like you could
Yeah.
work toward 42, and like you always
Yeah,
felt
that's
like you
right.
got a goal. Like I really like that system too in Halo. I
No
thought that
doubt.
was fantastic.
Yeah, it's
Street Fighter does the same basic thing.
Yeah.
And it's a motivator. Every time you're there, it's a motivator. I want to get a
That's
little bit
right.
better, and I can.
It's
Even if it's one rank, yeah.
I think the best matchmaking systems for ranked have done that, where if you are a player who just started out and you are really good, yeah, you're gonna be playing some people where you're probably stomping them as a solo player, although you still have to contend with your teammates. But you'll probably stomp them, but you move through those ranks really, really, really fast, like TV said. You get out of those low ranks so fast that, yeah, sure, it's kind of the way it is at the beginning of most seasons when games have a reset. If you jump in right away when they've reset the rank, you could be playing against anyone because everyone starts at the same kind of level and they have to build back up through their ranks. And yeah, I mean, if you're playing ranked, you should understand that you're going to play some people that are maybe going to be higher ranked than you, especially initially right off the bat. But it will even out pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. And chat mentioned like smurfing can be a problem, but that's also really easily avoided these days with the kinds of power that Bungie has in a live service game, as opposed to what they had back in the Halo days. I mean, they can make modifications to matchmaking. So, I mean, if you're a level 1 and you're trying to boost, you're like, maybe you hit a wall at 40, so you start over at 1 to try and like, sometimes there's that catapult effect where you could sort of play well enough to overreach your skill and then come back down. So if you're trying to smurf people, you could always just make it so that if you are partied up with somebody who is a 50, no matter what your skill level, you have to play at their level. You could do stuff like that with ranked playlists too.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the tech they're using now for ranked could have been something that they could use to monitor smurfing people that are intentionally trying to stay in low ranks. But like, hey, we see your skill level is higher. We're gonna do that. I mean, obviously that's very hard to just like target single players with a different matchmaking system. But
Well,
it feels like maybe
That's why they bump you up. Like you can move 3-4 ranks. It even happens in League of Legends where you can go up like 3-4 ranks. It's like, oh, you do not want to be here. We want to boost you up as fast as we can, at a reasonable rate. And that's kind of what all the good rank systems have done, in my opinion. They move you up quickly.
Yeah, and no serious PvP player is going to intentionally try to stay low in a ranked playlist just to stomp people. That's not something they're going to do, because nobody in the PvP community is going to give 2 fricks about your 40 kill game if you're playing in a silver lobby. They just don't.
Yeah.
Like, the whole point of being in a ranked playlist is to flex how high you got.
Yeah.
So no one's going to be throwing games to try and stomp people at lower levels. No serious PvP players are going to do that.
You can get that gameplay by going to the quick play.
Yeah, it's different if it's quick play, right? Like the whole point, like to muck around with builds and something that's not ranked.
Yeah. So that is 3v3 ranked. It's going to have survival, which is weighted higher, and countdown rush, which is lower weighted. They mentioned somewhere here, I don't think it's in here, but they mentioned that they're not doing like promotional games anymore until you get to a certain rank. So you're not going to have to worry about promo games until you get to a certain level.
Okay.
Is it the same as because don't you get like an at risk as well, like a demotion?
Yes.
Games as well.
You do indeed.
So no demotion or?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay.
You will still get demoted because you kind of have to.
But you don't have to win those 2 games.
Yeah. 6v6 unranked. So this is prioritizing connection, latency, and what they say is loose skill-based matchmaking, which if it is loose skill-based matchmaking, I am okay with that. And this rotates, this is what's getting people spicy. It rotates through different variations of control. So control, checkmate control, sparrow control, and momentum control.
Sparrow control.
This is just what happened in Iron Banner, and people got on their sparrows, and then eventually, like 2 days later, they were like, all right, I'm going to go back to shooting people.
Okay.
but it's fun to get to places faster on your Sparrow.
So why are people upset by this?
Why are people upset?
So follow me here. So this is gonna
Yes.
get a little bit nitty gritty, but
I mean,
a lot of people don't understand that the term loose skill-based matchmaking is a very, very vague term, because the way that matchmaking happens is so much more complex than that name can accurately depict.
But wait a
So the
minute.
problem is
There's a quick play too that has no 6v6 quick play.
yeah, and
This is
sounds
six.
like those are going to
Yes.
be party modes, yeah. But
Yes.
for like the state, what we typically associate with being Destiny PvP, you know, just if you're just going to load up Destiny PvP, you're probably playing Control, you know. That's this.
Yeah.
So the problem with Bungie keeps backing off the parameters with how wide, how much deviation from your skill they are willing to pull players from, right?
Yeah.
But here's the problem with that. It is so seldom going to reach very far away from you. No matter how many times they move those goalposts away, because the matchmaking system, as far as we understand it, I mean, I've yet to be told I'm wrong on this. So if a dev wants to tell me I'm wrong, I'd actually be more than happy to get some clarification on that. But as far as we know, the system is always going to start at your skill level. And if it can find people really close to you, it's going to take them first. If it can't find them, then it will go further out, away from your skill level, up or down, to find people. If it still can't find people, go even further yet. And they keep moving those goalposts with how far away from you it's willing to go.
Yeah.
And that's what they're calling loose skill-based matchmaking. The problem is,
but
the Destiny community...
it's also the third thing in line. So it says prioritizing connection, latency, and skill.
Yeah.
Right. So is it?
But they've said that before too, you know.
Yeah.
And it's hard to know. It's a really complex system. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I understand everything about how it works. But this is the way that it has worked historically. The Destiny community is large enough that the system never has to reach too far away from your skill level to fill a lobby.
Unless
I
you
mean,
live
every
near
now and then you'll get an
unless
outlier.
you're Australian.
Unless you're,
Sorry, we
yes,
don't all live in the US.
I will admit that is definitely a factor if you live in a region that doesn't have the luxury of having a big player population. But for me, it never has to reach too far, because it's always going to fill a lobby pretty close to my skill level before it ever has to start moving those goalposts. So it doesn't matter how loose that system gets, it's still going to end up being a really competitive lobby in an experience that many of us don't really want to be highly competitive. We just want to try out that new seasonal grenade launcher and see if it's any good.
What's the difference between this and the normal quick play? Because is quick play still SPMMMM?
You mean like right now?
Right
now.
Yes, it's still SPMM. Yeah.
And so this is like technically less SPMMMM.
Potentially, but we
Maybe.
don't know
Depending on-
because they've
depending
been
on the loose-
loosening. They've been loosening the quick plays matchmaking for a while, so we don't actually know where they're at in their loosening.
Yeah.
So it could be the same, or this could be looser.
Okay.
But
People are
we'll
angry
have to
over
wait
the
and see.
looseness.
No, people are angry about the modes, and that is including the quick play and also the 6v6 unranked.
Okay.
So 6v6 unranked goes through different variations of control. And momentum control is, I would say it's even a party mode. It's not quite like a regular mode.
It's fun.
In 6v6 quick play, that's going to be rotating between party modes such as Mayhem, Scorch, and it's also going to rotate between relentless modes, which is Clash and Supremacy, stuff like that. So it's possible potentially that there will be a week where there is nothing that you want to play because you've got these kind of party modes mixed in both of these nodes.
Not
the modes and the
you
nodes.
typically associate with being Destiny PvP. Yeah.
This seems solvable if Bungie realizes that this could be a potential problem and just don't let that happen. But I don't know that they would. I don't know how that works. Do you think it's like they just program in the rotation, and then they know what the rotation is going to be for the first 2 weeks, but they nobody really calculates it out for week 34.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know
tough
how that
because also
works.
the 6v6 quick play also has no SBMM in it. So like if you're someone who's really enjoying playing Clash and Supremacy and quick play, when Mayhem and Scorch comes up, those are weeks that you're probably not gonna play. And then will those weeks that you're not playing those modes, will it be Sparrow control and then momentum control? So you're not wanting to play in those modes either. So it's just the way that they've put the modes together just seems a bit strange that you are mixing like these party modes and regular modes. And it could potentially be a situation where you're like, well, I don't want to play any of these things.
I don't feel like partying. I'm just being honest.
I don't want to party right now.
Yeah, things. The whole week just seems a little offbeat.
I mean, look, even as a I guess I would definitely call myself a casual PvP player. Like, I feel like the more nodes you add, there's just increasing confusion for what to click on when you want to go in there and have, you know, a couple games. And I actually think this happens in Halo Infinite too, because I've been playing Halo Infinite now. I'm like, holy modes. I'm like scrolling through. I'm like, I just want to play a couple games. Just recommend something to me. I want to get in. I want to, you know, not get absolutely head stomped. And that's about it.
Are we 100% sure that these are weekly rotators and not like rotating game to game? Because it says in 3v3 that it rotates through weekly modes, and it doesn't specify that for 6v6 unranked or 6v6.
That's how it all is currently. Like you'll play Clash and then you'll play Supremacy
for a week.
Yeah, for a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're right, Mylan. It is going to be. I mean, it's a whole 6 nodes. So when you go to load up PvP, you're going to see a lot of options there.
You got to look like matchmaking, SBMM, connection based.
That's right. So
modes.
One of my concerns is that if what we're hearing internally is that player retention is an all-time low, especially with PvP, and player sentiment is bad, is fragmenting the player base, you know, dividing them among 6 different pools and then dividing them again based on skill in some of those pools, is that going to create a good atmosphere? I don't know. I can only speculate, but I'm concerned that maybe that's going to be too much division.
Yeah. We'll see.
So let me, as a non-PvP player, see if this is right, what people want. Do people just really want a ranked mode, which is, you know, based on your rank, and then everything else, you have maybe 3v3s, 6v6, you've got like a quick play and a party mode, and that's just like connection based, or mostly connection based with, you know, very loose matchmaking.
Yeah, keep it simple. A ranked mode. You know, your 3v3 mode that goes away when Trials is up, totally fine, because that's 3v3 too.
That's a great way to practice. That's good.
That's right. You're free for all. You're just standard 6's experience.
Yeah.
And then if you want to have a weekly rotator that's a party mode of some kind, that's fine too. Because the free for all can literally be off on its own thing. That is a really small community. And the only reason they brought it back is because that tight-knit, small free for all community was really upset when they took that option away. A lot of them really like to be in just those small little lobbies of just 6 people total, all fending for themselves.
Do you know why they like it, TV?
Why do they like it?
Because they farm XP in there. Because I literally went into free play in Australia, and 3 out of the 6 people were with macros, just throw grenades up in the air. Just
really?
farming. Yep.
That doesn't happen here. It's actually like, really.
Bro, I'm only fighting 2 other people. Everyone else is in spawns.
Rumble's like the most competitive environment a lot of times. At least for me, in the times that I play, if I load up Rumble, it tends to be like the same people, you know, and we all know each other, and you recognize their play styles because you played them so many times. You're like, okay, he's going to be doing this, and
it does say that Rumble will prioritize connection and latency, so that's not going to have any SBMM in it.
Mm-hmm. So that can kind of be off on its own, like to reduce confusion. So you just have the 4 primary ones, and maybe free for all in your custom games separate, because they'll know where to find it, the enthusiasts. Yeah, but keep it simple.
Yeah, the Bungie's kind of gone back and forth on this, right? They've super simplified it, and then they're like, here's a billion modes. And then they're like, oh, we need to simplify it again. Here's all the modes. So we'll see how it ends up going. I mean, looking at this map that the graphic that they put, you've got Sparrow Control, Checkmate Clash, and also Clash, which I know it's 3v3 Checkmate Clash. Maybe they could make it to where it's, a different mode. I don't know. And then you've got Showdown in Quick Play, Competitive. I don't know. We'll see. I definitely do hear the concerns of people who are like, so there could potentially be weeks that I load up this game and there's nowhere that I actually want to play.
It's just Showdown
Destiny.
everywhere. All Showdown.
Well, and another concern that a lot of people have had is like, listen, Checkmate's kind of cool, but you guys are starting to scare me with all this Checkmate talk. Like, let's put it in trials, let's put it in the main rotator, and maybe we'll lean into this even more. And everyone's like, well, I mean, it's cool, but I don't want it to start creeping in on my just generic Destiny experience too.
Yeah, they did say that they're going to be doing a week of Trials Labs that's Checkmate. So that is coming. We'll be trying out Checkmate Dominion.
Yep.
And then, yes, the other thing people were a bit in a huff and a puff about was focusing. So the way that they're doing focusing, I think it's good that they are bringing Engram focusing to competitive, because you play your few games a week and you're done. That's all you have to potentially get the weapon that you want with the role that you want. So what they're going to be doing is they're going to be bringing Rose and then also the sniper rifle available for you to focus. Or you're going to be focusing the ones that are not currently available to obtain, I think is what they said. However, they say here, it's not as simple as having the engrams on hand. They want you to test your metal in competitive in order to focus your engrams. So if you are not ranked, you do not get the possibility of focusing the engram. Now, I understand where they're coming from with this, because they're like, why should you be able to get a competitive weapon and not have stepped in comp ever at any point? But the way that it breaks down is, if you're copper, you can focus 1 per week. Bronze, 2, silver, 3, gold, 4, platinum, 5, adept, 6, and ascendant, 7. So that's how many engrams you can focus per week.
Sorry, I had to step away. Is this like a different type of engram, or is this a Crucible engram?
It's a Crucible engram, yeah.
So you can get a Crucible engram from anything?
Yes.
But you can't focus it. You can only focus so many times depending on your comp rank.
Yes, for the comp weapons specifically. Yeah.
Right.
And they said that they looked at the possibility of using a cipher or a different currency. It's like, thank God they did.
Please no.
Right?
Please no more currency. Such as Ascendant alloys. I'm like, no, please. So then
I see what they're doing though, because like the way comp used to be, didn't you only get like 1 shot per character to get? You had to do your placements, and you had to do so many games.
You had to do like 7 games, and then you had to do 3 games to actually get the drop. So it was quite a lot of games to actually even get a drop, and then you're limited to that drop. Yeah.
I don't know I think this sounds okay, but what have people been reacted? I mean, it's typical like Bungie convoluted things, but
right.
It is more agency over rather than just playing comp and getting a random drop, I guess. If you're going to be playing comp, you're going to have more chances to re-roll.
I think it's the thing of like,
is there a limit?
Why?
How many?
Yes.
What's the limit? How many?
Copper 1, bronze 2, silver 3.
But if you're like
4.
max rank, like how many times?
You get 7. 7 focusing. Yeah. And it is 3 Crucible engrams and 25,000 glimmer per focus.
Okay. So what do you think about
when we
this?
had only how much glimmer did we used to have? 1,000 total?
100. 100,000, wasn't it?
Just 100. Just walking around with $100.
$100.
You got a fat hundo for you, baby.
I saw a question that they said all retired competitive weapons, does that include Recluse? No, this is specifically Rose and the Mercurial Overreach Sniper. These aren't like the pinnacle peak weapons that we could obtain back in the day. This is just the comp weapons.
Chat said the cap is what people don't like. I mean, Bungie's got this.
They are obsessed
we know
with
why.
caps. We know why.
We know why. Because of the economy. Right,
It
because
it makes you come back every week,
and
and
makes
so
you
you can
come back
focus
every
your
week.
2 engrams.
Right.
And because people probably who regularly play Crucible were probably sitting on a bazillion engrams anyway.
I do have a lot of engrams. Yeah.
And normally at the end of the season, I've got at least 300 to 400 just sitting there before the season rolls over, and I'm like, "Am I gonna decrypt these?" And I'm always
Nope.
like, "No, I don't think.
Nope.
I don't think I am."
So it's just the limit that people are a little like, do we really need to get placed into a rank and then also have a cap on how much we can do at that rank, you know, instead of just like, if you play competitive and you get placed, you now have unlocked the ability to focus engrams. And then if you're if you're someone who doesn't play a lot of Crucible, you're not going to have enough engrams to focus over and over again anyway. Whereas if you are someone who plays a lot of Crucible, you will have a lot of engrams, and then you've just got to play comp to, you know, focus as many engrams as you can afford.
The thing I don't like about this is I don't like playing comp, so I would always play just enough comp just to get like however many engrams I wanted to decode, but probably not enough to get high, you know, because I've never liked comp since the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Even if I like playing free for all the time, I'm gonna have a million engrams that I can't decrypt.
Anything else?
Yeah, there's another section where they talk about how they're modifying how your skill plays into matchmaking. Basically, just saying, if I'm reading this correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, Watts, but my understanding is that basically the system's just going to be able to react faster, and allow for a little bit more the example they gave was, okay, so you know, we know how good you are, and so depending on how much you play, the game has a sort of confidence level. Like if you've played 3,000 hours of PvP, they're very confident that they have dialed you in. If you've only played 100, there's a lot more leeway there. They're like, we think he's this level, but we'll allow for a little leeway there because we don't have 100% confidence in that. But it's basically saying that if you're a player like me and you've played thousands of hours and has a lot of confidence, it's going to try to at least give you a little bit of grace if you're having an off day, or if you're, you know, trying to play around with a new build. And so it'll react more quickly and say, okay, well, he just got his butt kicked for 2 matches in a row. Let's kind of like reel him in a little bit and give him a little bit of a layup.
I like that.
That's also a little bit like people can go either way on, because systems like that have historically been A, they can be manipulated, and B, it can feel really punishing to players who happen to have good games. This is something the COD community can speak to a lot, because it's one of the things that they complain about the most, is that the COD system is very reactive. So if you have 2 really good matches, it's going to be like, time to hammer him back down. Let's put him in some really hard. Let's literally make him bang his head against a wall for a couple of matches straight and have zero fun. And it feels like at that point the game has more agency than it should. It has more control than it should over your experience, and it gets to dictate in real time how much fun you're going to have in your next match. And that's what people are admittedly a little bit reserved about, because it almost feels like the game is maybe intruding a little bit more than it should be. So I could go either way on this. I just want to see it play out.
I need to see it play out. Yeah, I would say the thing that I do like is that Bungie did specifically mention if someone wants to play off meta, which I think has maybe been the first time that they've acknowledged that maybe people want to do some fun stuff sometimes, and it can react to you being like, okay, this person's getting their ass kicked, whether because they're using a class that they don't normally use, maybe you're trying to practice a different class and get better on it. It will react and put you in easier lobbies because of that.
Yeah.
So I did like that they mentioned that. That was nice to see. The lobby balancing thing, the way that they're doing lobby balancing now is that it's going to work like a snake draft. So team A gets first pick, team B gets the next 2 picks, then team A gets 2 more picks, and so on until there's no players left. So, cool.
I guess. Whatever. How were they doing it before?
I don't know.
Team A gets everybody
being like,
they
you
want,
are the
and then
best
Team B
player.
is fucked.
Here's all the bad players. You're all mediocre players. You all go on that team, which ends up being
It's definitely been a constant pain point. And I feel like they said something about doing the snake draft thing before, and I had people swearing to me this week while playing. They're
I
like,
swear
"Oh, they
they
fixed
did.
that. Oh, they fixed that. They've been doing the
I
snake
swear
draft thing
they
forever." And I'm like, "Show me where." And then we
Yeah.
get this TWAB, and I'm like, vindication.
So there we go. There's some stuff on map spawning. They're gonna try and make it better. Basically,
Good.
they're gonna try and make spawns be a little bit better than they currently are. And then there was something cool about making trials more rewarding. So in season 23, they're making a small change to trials rewards. And it did say that they have some larger changes coming alongside the final shape. I hope this includes like artifice armor in the flawless chest and ornaments and a bunch of fun stuff. But we don't know that right now. But what they're going to be doing next season is they're adding a set of small weekly rewards that trigger depending on how many wins you get in a row before your card becomes flawed. So you don't have to be super focused on, I have to get the max amount of wins to get something. You are now going to be able to get, if you get 3 wins, you get Trials Armor. 4 wins, you get 5 enhancement cores. 5 wins, a Trials Weapon. 6 wins, 3 enhancement prisms. So it's just going to make it a little bit more rewarding as you're just playing trials, whether you're playing for rep to get more stuff or whether you're trying to go flawless, you're just going to get more out of it. I'm always down to make trials more rewarding.
Yeah.
That's great.
The more people playing it, the better.
Yeah. Trials is always at its best when it's got good rewards and there's a big player population.
Yep. Absolutely. And then they also showed off the ritual weapon for comp, which is a sword.
That it is.
There's a
we
bunch
got,
of stuff leaving
we
and
got
coming.
some new weapons. Yeah. I was going to say.
Yes.
Is that where you're
Yeah, I'm
going
actually
next?
actually quite looking forward to these. So leaving Trials is Immortal and Astral Horizon Shotgun. New is a Strand Adaptive Trace Rifle.
Oh, cool.
Which I'm looking
Incisor.
forward to a Strand Trace Rifle.
Yeah.
And then returning is the Eye of Soul Sniper, which I'm also excited about.
Great gun.
Iron Banner leaving is the Dark Decider Auto Rifle and the Gnora's Axe Slug Shotgun. New is a Strand High Impact Auto Rifle.
Yeah.
This has me intrigued.
Yeah, I'm also intrigued about that.
I will say,
Oh.
I will say,
Piqued my interest.
whenever new guns like this come to Crucible playlist, I know that Mercules is one of those guys that really likes to micromanage perk pools, which
Yeah.
I really appreciate because he's had his hand in the pot with a lot of like really cool perk combinations that we've had recently on some weapons, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I did that. I wanted to make sure that you had that combo in there." So I see guns like this coming. I think Strand weapons in particular have a lot of like build synergy.
They do, yeah.
So if Merc and the guys are going to be micromanaging that perk pool, then hopefully we're going to get some banger combos there. That has me excited.
Yep. And also Reese Walker Kinetic Shotgun is returning for Iron Banner. It's a good shotgun. Nightfall, Buzzards leaving, and the Swarm Machine Gun. New is an Arc Wave Frame Breach Loaded Grenade Launcher. And returning is the Uzume RR4 Sniper.
This is cool to me.
Yeah.
A wave frame GL specifically for a PvE endgame, activity. I always hate when it's like, oh, the best PvP gun right now is the Palindrome. Where do you get it? Nightfalls.
Yeah.
So it's cool to have like something that's, the PvE community always gets down with waveframe GLs. A lot of great build synergy there. So I like that for them.
Yeah. So I'm actually pretty looking forward to the weapons coming next season. I play Strand, so if you mention Strand stuff, I'm like, oh, nice. I can have more weapons with more synergy. That's great.
Yeah, because isn't the only Strand Trace Rifle the exotic one so far?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
That'd be good. So overall, like I'm like mixed on the TWAB about this part. Like, could the modes be fine? Sure, it could be. Maybe there's enough population to sustain that many, and there's gonna never be a time where I'm like, oof, I don't want to play any of these modes. But could it also be terrible? Yeah, could be.
Probably not.
we'll see. We'll see how it works out. And I'm happy that there's a place for me to use all the engrams that I have to try and get something I want instead of just leaving them and being like, I don't want any of this stuff. Just unfortunate that there is such a cap on it. And if you can only get to bronze, you're only going to be able to do two a week.
Yeah, that's rough. It's kind of neat that I do reward like the higher skilled players. Like there's a reason to try and grind your rank so you can do more of those. But if you're just
I agree.
if your skill ceiling is bronze, that's tough.
Yeah, if you're trying your best and you're just stuck, you're like, God damn it.
My guess is that they have internal data that would support that decision. There's probably not a lot of people who are playing a ton of PvP and living at bronze, and you know what I mean, and have all those extra engrams and currency to focus anyways. Yeah. So I mean, there's going to be some. And
that's kind of why I was like, why the cap? Because the people who play a lot of Crucible are going to have a lot of engrams, and the people who don't won't have the engrams to focus a bunch anyway. So you're kind of like naturally keeping non-PvP players from getting a bunch of comp weapons.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yep.
You want to hear some story stuff?
Before we do,
hand it off.
Hold up. Yes. Before we do, I do notice that they don't talk about kind of any of the news that we got last week in this TWAB.
They don't. And the biggest thing is the delay.
Who was it about? Who wrote this TWAB tweet?
That's what's making people sad, is that it says Destiny 2 team.
Yeah, I don't think they're signing it anymore.
They're not signing it as a specific person anymore.
Who's the Destiny 2 team?
The PvP guys and the people who are talking about Ribbon.
Well, Liana had said last week that the TWABs often can have upward of 65 people involved in the information collected and then refined and delivered.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's what the community manager's doing, running around everyone's desk and like getting, and like translating it from dev brain to like someone like you can read and like understand, right?
Right.
So we got a lot of I don't know. I would say rumors. I don't know, like reports from anonymous people, such as like the final shape has been delayed till summer 2024.
June.
Yeah. Which we have not heard officially from Bungie, right? In any form.
No. Not at all.
So, like, we don't know if that's true, and I'd kind of like Bungie to address it.
It would be nice. I did find that
they had a post, did they not? About was there not a chat?
There was a post last week instead of the TWAB where they mentioned the final shape, but they didn't say anything about it being delayed.
Oh, they didn't mention it had been delayed.
No.
I thought that.
So I was surprised because I thought that, and I'm sure that they're like, maybe it's just an internal thing right now where they're like, we need to delay it a tentative date of June, and maybe they don't have a specific date set yet, and they're waiting to see when the date's going to be, and that's where they're going to tell us. But it would be nice, seeing as we have had these rumors, to be like, just a bit of honesty, and say, yeah, guys, we are going to be looking at a delay here. We don't fully know a date yet. We will let you know as soon as we do.
And that is not just for shit and giggles. People are putting money on pre-orders for this stuff. You know, they want to know, like, am I going to be waiting 9 months? Am I going to wait in, 4 months? Like, how long am I going to be waiting if I put this money into your pocket and not mine? You know?
That's why I was kind of laughing about, like, people haven't pre-ordered the final shape. I'm like, it's even before the delay. It's pretty far away, man.
Yeah.
People can use that money up until the release date.
Yeah. And, they talked a lot about the reason for that delay is that they want it to be on par with, and they say things like, Forsaken King and Forsaken.
Forsaken King.
I combined them.
I think
that sums it up perfectly. Forsaken King.
The Forsaken King.
That sounds like a good DLC.
That sounds like a banger to me. But like, you think about Forsaken, what do we get, like 7 PvP maps?
Yeah.
And if they want to be on par or better, that's the standard they're setting. Like, holy cow, they got to swing for the fences. But I think it was Astacross that reported on that this week. But internally, I don't know who his source is.
Right.
but
Right.
said that the map pack is already being playtested by playtesters. And if that's the case, I mean, it's possible that they could have 6 maps if they chose to do that by
Yeah.
next June.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not game dev is not a fast process. I certainly understand that. But if they're already playtesting the map pack that Joe told us about 2 months ago,
Yeah, that
Yeah,
seems
seriously.
extraordinarily
That's
fast.
very fast.
Yeah.
well, that leads me to believe that that was already the plan and in the works before he said so. But I mean, that's plenty of time, I would think. Who knows? I'm a little bit hopeful, and you know, I try to curb my enthusiasm with reality and being pragmatic as well. So trying
I'd
to
be
find a
very
balance there.
happy to hear about a delay because I think the final shape does need to be great. It needs to be one of the great expansions that Destiny has seen, with it being the end of such a long story.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with a delay. I hope that they delay it as long as they need to make it that Forsaken kind of level, because it really does need to be there.
Not only does it have to end the story, but it has to start a new one. Because if they just
Yeah.
end the story with the final shape and they don't give people a reason to log in to see what's next, like in that final shape, I think they're doing themselves a huge disservice.
You just need one cutscene where I'm like, flying in a ship, and you're just like, a whole new world awaits us, and it's new planets we've never seen before.
It's
And
gonna
then
have
cut,
to be a
I'll
lot.
be like, woo. Nice.
I don't
Mylan,
know.
is there lore speaking? Is there any potential antagonist that is formidable but fears the witness that could be laying in like dormant right now, just waiting for the witness to be taken off the board?
No, I mean, I don't think so. I think maybe the unresolved villain storyline would be the Vex. And like you could probably introduce some big baddie in the Vex, like, you know, but there's no like named Vex overlord that's been
The
controlling
big
the
bad Vex man. He's-
yeah, has been controlling the timelines, and this is all part of their game plan, and now
Yeah.
we're converging on a what, you know. No. So, but
They could do some
I
funky
mean,
dunky stuff with the 9. They could take me anywhere with the 9. The 9 who knows where they are. Magic space.
I mean, there could be a thread somewhere. There is a bunch of stuff like
Yeah.
that. You know, the witness originally started as the voice in the darkness. It only had like a couple lines, you know, written here, there, and elsewhere. And really, it was just to personify the darkness, gave them a lot of agency to, you know, have the darkness talk to people and be have human characteristics. Otherwise, it's just like a fog cloud. You know, like no one even knows what it looks like.
Mhm.
So, you know, the witness filled that role of putting a face to, you know, an enemy we've known for a while. But yeah, not that I'm aware of. Dragons?
Dragons.
Are there any Ahamkara unaccounted for out there?
Oh, funny you'd mention that. Wow. So there was a Imbaru puzzle. I didn't do it. Did you guys do the puzzle? I just watched people solve the puzzle and try to solve the puzzle, and then watched a summary video of how to solve the puzzle. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not doing that myself. I'm just gonna have to watch some cutscenes and what happened and summarize it.
It was
But,
awesome
yeah.
that they had a puzzle that led to the reveal that we'll get to. So I do appreciate that they did something
Yeah.
like that. We haven't had something like that in a minute.
It's always cool. Yeah.
So after you do solve this puzzle, you get a in-game, not like cutscene, I don't know what you'd call it, but like, you know, in-game dialogue, access to a room that has an Ahamkara egg in it. And you've seen these Ahamkara eggs before because you've probably shot them as part of with Wish Ender for
Monsters.
And now the dragons are pissed that you took out all their
And
babies.
they're coming back to
Oh,
save their
yeah,
babies.
And in Season of the Lost, Marasov had a taken Ahamkara egg in her area, and so now
Really?
this is like
Yes.
yeah.
I
It
don't
was like
remember this.
behind. Yeah, it was behind these bars, and people had glitched into the area to get a better look at it, and it was definitely like an Ahamkara egg that was taken, and
Yep.
Yeah, and I thought it was going to go somewhere, and I never did. And just kind of.
Well, it still could, right?
I think. Well, I don't think. I think when Bungie writes this stuff later, they've been really good at looking back at the past and like acknowledging a lot of like previous old story and lore. And what they said in this time is it's untaken, which is a nice little callback because Mara's egg was taken. If you don't remember that, like, so this is like, hey, it's an untaken egg, which means we have maybe more chances of being friends.
There's a baby inside there, maybe. Who's gonna sit on it?
I want to write it.
Who's gonna incubate it?
Never ending story.
And they've said it's Riven's clutch. And then they also tweeted the Bungie account or the Destiny 2 account tweeted what the next season is going to be, called Season of the Wish.
Yep.
Not Season of the Witch, Season of the Wish.
Season of the Wish.
And it had an Ahamkara that looked identical to Riven coming through I guess I haven't really analyzed it. I think it was a portal of some sort. Just like Dreaming City vibes by the looks of it, right?
Yeah.
So we got a lot to get through, so I'll just break it down as we go through. The whole Riven's clutch thing is interesting because Ahamkara are shapeshifters, and in the lore they occupy lots of different shapes, and previously they take on stereotypical dragon serpent shapes, and like some people wish, I can't remember who it was, chat will correct me, I think it was either Shax or Saladin. One of their wishes was to fight a dragon, and they're like fighting a dragon, a very typical like medieval dragon fight. And other representations of them, like they've morphed into humans and Vex constructs and different things, right? So they're shapeshifters. And Riven was the first time we saw an Ahamkara in game. So the question is, because it's Riven's clutch, is this like the base form of Riven, or maybe? I mean, it's got to come out as a baby, but
it's gonna be a little baby. But maybe Ahamkaras are actually kind of big babies.
Or maybe they grow real fast, or maybe this one
shapeshifted to be Riven
into Riven because there's a whole bunch of lore about how they meet our expectations and part of like granting wishes and desires and stuff. And obviously, our desire and what we are familiar with is Riven. And the Wall of Wishes, so it would make sense for it to take on Riven's form.
That checks out.
But I guess the implication is it's Riven's baby. I'm not too sure how they it's a clutch of Riven.
Are we the dad?
Who the daddy?
It's probably a donkey somewhere.
Well, Zeus kind of a thing.
I assume that we're like gonna be cracking the baby open or something throughout the weeks, or teaching the baby how to fly or something. It's gonna be How to Train Your Dragon, but in Destiny.
Eggs.
Yeah.
For breakfast.
Yeah. Right. I'm just having a quick look. Oh yeah, and so they mentioned during that scene, babies might be a bit pissy because of the great hunt, Kara hunt.
I killed your mom. Sorry.
Well, not just that. We killed like your whole species. So.
And all the rest of you.
Yeah. The consensus ordered the dragons to be too dangerous, and that's what the great Ahamkara hunt is about. Because their power was way too tempting for Guardians. Essentially, there's a nice little bit of lore about how Guardians have lots of desires, because I think this is Bungie like writing about players themselves. There's really nice like fourth wall breaking throughout Destiny, but it's sort of like the want of the player base is sometimes represented in the Guardians with like their desires, like we want more, and that's like you kind of see that interaction when it comes to Ahamkara, because Ahamkara kind of preyed on Guardians because they just want more, and they've got lots of wishes to make. So the consensus was like, you're too dangerous to live. We're going to wipe you all out. And there are a couple scenes that talk about the great Ahamkara hunt, including Eris and Ikora, like just basically wiping out what's described as an army of Ahamkara and like sitting on a pile of bones.
Do you think like if we're gonna start working with Baby Riven, do you think Zavala's gonna like take Shax aside and be like, "Listen, man, you probably need to take that down. It might be in poor taste to have a skull hanging over there."
Well, I mean, I was like, how are they gonna know? Just don't tell them. But then, yeah, Aham Kara transcend death, and Shax does have a skull there, so I'm assuming
We wear
like,
their
maybe
bones as
Ahamkara-
armor too.
It makes me think of
True.
remember that
Yeah, we
skit?
do.
Remember that skit? Are we the baddies? We got our
Yes,
skulls
we
on
do.
them. Are we the
Yeah.
So I think that were the main points you get from that in game, and then you get a proper cutscene
do.
because we say we're going to take the egg back to the Athenaeum, and it's our guardian like gone full conspiracy mode.
So I was
working on
watching this. I'm like, my guardian's not smart enough to do any of this.
And the big reveal is that Savathun gave us what we needed to enter the portal, and she had a wall of wishes pattern on the inside of her wing. So this guardian's like, I don't know, got photographic memory.
Wings,
And,
wish balls.
yeah.
Circles.
Circles. And implying that this is the 15th wish, the wish that was never found, that was speculated upon, and that we could wait for this egg to hatch and then make a wish to follow the witness. Oh, I did forget one thing. When you find the egg, it's called the heirloom, and this was referenced in one of the lore books as the heirloom. And we didn't know what the heirloom was. It was one of Savathun's contingency plans. And so there's a bit of lore about, she's like, if they find the pattern before resurrecting me, because obviously Savathun needed to be resurrected so we could see the pattern, but her body was being held elsewhere. So she had a contingency plan that, like, if Guardians, analyze my body, which, to be honest, they should have, because I'm pretty sure
Would have been smart.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Eris did didn't Eris do like a post-mortem on
An
Savathun?
autopsy,
Yeah.
She didn't
I'm
see
pretty
any of
sure
the writing.
Didn't see the massive pattern on one of the wings. Anyway.
Hey, look, what's this map doing here?
No one else has been in the raid. They don't know
That
about
doesn't
the
look
wish wall.
important.
They don't know about wishes or a wall.
Yeah. She said if they discover the pattern, give the heirloom, which we now know was the egg, to Keitel.
To Keitel.
Because
She's gonna
Keitel has
sit
a...
on it. She's big enough.
No.
Okay.
Well, she's good.
She'll keep it warm.
Well, yeah. I mean, there would be a good pairing, but the idea was Keitel has so much hate towards Xivu Arath because of what she did to the Cabal home planet that Keitel would use the dragon to make a wish to wage war against Xivu, and that would cause like a whole bunch of chaos, allowing Savathun to do like another plan essentially. So that's kind of cool that this was all set up in the lore previously. We just didn't know it was an Kara egg yet. It was called the heirloom.
That is cool.
Yeah. So yeah, we got the pattern, and then we get a radio message that kind of fills in the blanks for new players, really. Like, there's a wish wall. Like, what's that about?
It's in a raid. It's the last wish. You should go in.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, there is a physical space in the Last Wish raid that is a bunch of symbols. It's like I don't know, it looks like a Connect 4 board. It's a bunch of circles.
It does. Yeah.
It's before the first encounter, so if you ever wanted to go check it out for yourself, you can.
You can go find it. Yep. And you shoot the board, and it changes the symbols, and there's a bunch of patterns that when you put them in there, it literally grants. Well, it's meant to, like in the law, it's like granting you a wish, and these wishes play out in the game, like usually teleporting you to a checkpoint. Changes the voice. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of like voice changes, right? Like you can changes
because it cycles
you
through
fail
NPC
save.
voices, and you can make it be fail safe's voice and stuff.
Yeah. And so previously there was 14 wishes, and I can't remember the real life lore of this, but was it just like data mine there was meant to be a 15th wish or something, or
I honestly don't remember.
I can't quite remember.
I don't remember why we thought there was a 15th one.
Yeah, maybe Chad can remember, but
The same
They
reason
probably
we think
can.
there's still a chest in Vogue we haven't found.
Yeah,
It would lead to the final Vogue chest.
Yeah,
the 15th wish.
It was triumphs. It might have been a triumph in the API or something.
API. Okay.
Stuff like anyway, like this has been a mystery in Destiny since this came out, that nobody found the 15th wish, and so now we know that Savathun had the pattern on the inside of a wing, and this is going to be our 15th wish. And the law of the wish wall itself was created by the Techians, the Awoken, like Mara Sov and her Techians, to make bargains with wish dragons that were more accurate because wish dragons manipulate.
They do the monkey paw. They are big on the monkey paw.
Yeah, do you remember that movie? I made this reference in my video, Bedazzled.
Yeah.
With Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
And like he like wishes to be like super famous and tall and whatever, and then like she gives him a small penis, and you're like, oh, okay. Like, so
it's the monkey paw.
It's a monkey paw. So that's what witch dragons do. They started hinting at like, why do they do that? We don't really have a super answer for that. It's always, I think people have just accepted that they are.
Does anyone need a reason to shrink somebody else's penis? It just sounds like fun.
That's just
good.
Right?
Give and take. You got to write down very specific what you want. I want to keep my penis. Okay.
Also, I would like to preserve.
I would like a lot of money.
Yeah.
And no one's dying. I'm not selling any babies.
Also, I'd like to keep my penis if I didn't say that already.
But the function of the wish war is meant to make it more difficult for Ahamkara to manipulate a wish to give you like a bad outcome, right? And this is how the Marasov built the Dreaming City was built using Riven, right? It was created through that process. So we know the wish wall works to a certain extent, but there's also nice lore cards that like of Riven speaking saying, aha, like it kind of worked, but there's still like I've done other tricky stuff and the city's not safe. And of course the Dreaming City got cursed. The Dreaming City curse is still floating around. So
I'm going to assume that Season of the Wish makes us become best friends with the dragon. And then in order to go through the portal for Final Shape, we ride the dragon into the portal. Because that would be cool.
Why are we going to do heroin when we
ride
go into the portal?
Why can't we just wish the witness was dead?
That's a good point.
That's not the 15th wish.
It's
15th wish is to ride the dragon.
Because this is the issue when you start adding wishes to games.
You gotta add a lot of rules.
You gotta add a lot of rules.
Yeah.
The Wall of Wishes. Anything else I need to mention? Oh, that's right. So the main kind of theory around Ahamkara is they feed on the gap between reality as is and what you desire. So, and the bigger that gap, the more that you want to achieve, the more that you desire, that kind of fuels them. But we don't really have any like specific insights to that. And there was a recent Ahamkara in-game lore piece, like only a couple of weeks ago, that reintroduced Ahamkara and talked about this. And it said that, our desires are very complicated, and that's probably one of the reasons why they get all twisted, is that we actually don't phrase things properly. Hence, the Wall of Wishes is meant to be able to do that a bit better. Mm-hmm. But if you also think about it, if we don't get exactly what we want, then we desire more. So it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy for Ahamkara to not grant wishes correctly, because then there's still that gap between who we are now and what we want to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Dragon Lore.
Sounds
it was
pretty
kind
good.
of expected to get story this week, wasn't it?
We expect at least one more radio message.
Yeah.
And kind of thinking of like an epilogue to introduce the next season. So yeah, I didn't see it coming. I thought maybe it would have been a bit closer to the
end of the season.
New
like
season.
the week before or something.
Yeah, but I think we're at week 12. I don't know what week it is right now, but they obviously had planned it for 12 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
I mean, it's got a lot of people excited again. It's brought up a lot of feelings, because basically what always happens with Destiny, everyone gets angry about something, and it's like, look at this.
The anger, I understand the anger completely. The anger that leads to people being upset that people were laid off so they don't want to spend money on Bungie doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, because then more people are going to get laid off, which if that's the thing that you're mad about, I don't know why that's the conclusion that you come to. If your conclusion is, I don't like how Bungie treated these people, so I don't want to give them money, that makes total sense. But if your thing is like, people got laid off and I'm mad about it, so I'm not giving them money, but I'm going to keep playing because more people are just going to get laid off. So I don't really understand that anger connection.
As with all things, I just encourage grace. You know, we all draw our lines in the sand somewhere, and we all have our own reasons for doing it. So a little mutual respect for where we draw those lines goes a long way. Yeah.
I think my advice to people, I mean, it seems like pre-orders really hurt Bungie recently, and I think the best thing to do is to not buy a product until they deliver on a product that you're happy with. And if you can hold off before purchasing seasons and expansions. Wait for people to give reviews and go watch Twitch streams and see how people are enjoying it and see if the game's changed enough for you to jump back in. And that way, like, I don't think it needs to be more morally complex than that, because I think that cuts through to upper management and stuff. Is like, if you don't make a good product, you're not going to buy it, and people aren't buying it, then we need to like listen a lot more and listen to our devs and listen to the community and make sure that we're making the right changes and not just talking about stuff, but actually delivering products that people really want to play.
I think you're right on the money there. I think, you know, some people are going to play it because they want to support the devs that remain. Some people are going to not play it because they want to, you know, be in defiance to the devs. But most people probably are just like, I am just a consumer.
Most people don't even know the layoffs happened.
I just play the game if it's good, and if it's not, I'm not gonna buy it. So
I mean, it's like I said this on stream as well. Like my brother's a big gamer. He's probably more of a gamer than me, which is like, this is my job, and he wouldn't know any of this. Yeah, he literally just logs on. He plays whatever's hot at the moment. He's got a bunch of friends that also play. He's not on Twitter. He's not on YouTube. He doesn't like consume any of that.
But if something's
good,
he'll
play. That
sounds like
wonderful.
He'd be happy.
It does sound like a happy time. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but he's got a baby on the way, so the happiness.
Oh, that's coming to a crashing halt.
Take the drops, baby.
Kind of aside the point, but I'm always so curious because Bungie doesn't make a physical product anymore, so I don't really understand why people pre-order digital products. Like, I don't really. It's not like there's going to be a scarcity at launch. You know, like,
have you heard of exotics?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're giving away pre-orders or pre-order bonuses.
Yeah.
The weapon. Yeah.
You get the weapon and you get all the cosmetics and you get access to it like already. Like, you know, what was the one? I didn't even get it because I didn't pre-order, but there was
the
fusion final
rifle?
shape. Final shape.
That's
exotic.
right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I always ask myself, it's like, if I pre-order, is the money I make on the review of that exotic going to offset my investment? and if I think the answer is yes, I'll pre-order. If I'm like, you know what, the Destiny content's not popping off right now, I think I'm just gonna wait. Then
I think if you are in the camp of like, I really don't like what Bungie's doing, I think not just playing and not spending money, I think not playing would be a big, maybe even a bigger hit, because they look at player retention numbers. And if they're like, wow, all of these people dropped off after we did this, that's going to make an impact. If you're playing, which if you're playing the final shape, you would have purchased the final shape. So people are like, I'm going to buy the final shape and play it, but I'm not going to buy silver. I'm like, if you're really upset and you want to send a message, not playing, not getting the final shape, and all of that is going to be the biggest thing for you to do.
It's all kind of a moot point anyway, because no matter what you're mad at, you're not actually going to affect the people you're mad at, because that's the suits.
Well, yeah.
And the suits aren't the ones getting laid off. The suits are the ones making decisions that you hate, and then laying off people who, you know, were forced to like make that content that they decided on.
Yeah.
So it's like the whole thing is like, you're
that's
really
the thing
powerless.
That really sucks, man. Because there's literally nothing you can do to touch the people you actually are angry at. We don't know these people. They never show their faces for the most part, and they're always gonna be billionaires.
Yeah,
they all got golden parachutes.
If they eventually decided, you know what, these mean gamers are too mean, I think I'll just leave and still be really rich doing it.
I'm gonna go be CEO of Pepsi.
Yeah. Whereas you have the people who are really need that money every month. They need that health care that you get with having a job because America sucks. And those are going to be the people suffering. So
Yeah.
it sucks that you can't, like, it feels like you can't do anything. I don't really know if we have an answer to what you could do to
playing the
affect
game or
this.
not playing the game, it doesn't make a difference. Buying the game, not buying the game, you know, it's not going to make a difference. It's not going to affect any change that you want to see. Like, you know,
This
do what
is why I
makes you
came back
happy.
to the
There's no
idea
such
of,
thing as being a conscientious consumer. It just doesn't exist. It doesn't work.
yeah, this is exactly why I came back to the idea that just wait to see if it's a product that you like.
Yeah.
You spend money on a product you like. Because I think there is, you know, as a live service game, I think a lot of people got in the habit of just always purchasing the next thing, right? And then Bungie got also used to that level of income as well, right? And expand. And then all of a sudden, they hit a bit of a roadblock. They have a bad expansion, and all the pre-orders go away, and then there's a drop
Also,
in player
COVID
base and
ended.
attention.
You know, people
Oh
you know,
my
went back
God. Yeah.
outside.
This year, I mean,
know?
we got news of, there's been 6,000 developers who have been laid off this year. But then after Bungie, there was Ubisoft who laid off people. The Warframe devs just had to lay off a bunch of people. There are layoffs from like almost every single company. And it's because you had this huge burst of everyone investing in games, and everyone was like, sweet, let's hire a bunch of people. Let's build new offices. Let's work on a new game. And then, like you said, COVID ends, people go back outside or they go back to work. A lot of people weren't working during that time. And
a lot of people
it
had
comes
extra cash
crashing
because of
down.
the COVID checks in the US.
Yeah. So it's affected a lot of tech places that boomed during COVID, and then now they're coming back down.
Yep.
Should we do some Twitter
Is it
questions?
Twitter? Yeah, Twitter questions.
Yeah.
It's called X now.
No, it's not.
It says when I type in twitter.com, I come to this website.
I still type in
Twitter.com.
If I type in
when I edit my
x.com, I get
favorites.
something completely different. In some ways,
that autofill
preferable.
goes crazy.
Yeah.
Well, these days they're the same thing anyways. Half the likes on my Twitter posts are
right.
Yeah. I'm
You wanna see
getting
some
the
porn,
bots
check out
again
my
on
Twitter mentions.
Oh, there's so many bots.
on
Oh,
YouTube Shorts. Like, I'm like, thanks for the views, ladies.
Are you bored? No, I'm very busy.
Well, I'm
very busy right
they're
now.
all
Are you
they're all
offered to help?
positive. They're always just like great content, and then there's the picture of a butt. I'm like, okay, great.
I get a
Oddly placed
compliment
butt.
and I get a butt.
There's like more bots than I've ever seen. It's crazy.
XX Gooch Lord XX. Love the name. Hey, DCP, long-time listener, first-time question asker. Do you prefer orange juice with pulp or no pulp? Team no pulp all the way. You guys,
No
pulp?
pulp.
No pulp?
I'm a no pulp.
I don't really mind, to be honest. If it's orange juice, I'll drink it.
Like, if it's freshly squeezed, I don't mind the pulp at all. But, like, if
Yeah.
I'm buying
True.
OJ and I have a
Yeah.
choice between pulp and no pulp, I'm reaching for the no pulp.
True.
But, like,
Yeah, if it's fresh.
if it's
I'm
there,
happy
like,
with
if
some
I
of that.
get served pulpy OJ at a restaurant, I'm not, like, throwing it my glass in the waitress's
No.
face, you know?
How dare you?
Hey, Blaze says, if the Ahamkara egg hatches, what are the odds that we, the Guardian, become responsible for taking care of it? Feed it, bathe it, clean up its square-shaped poop drop-ins, etc. We get an
That's my
Ahamkara
hope.
pet.
That is my hope for next
I hope
season.
that they're making a Tamagotchi
Mhm.
that links to your Bungie account and you look after Riven 2.
They should. That's revenue right there. Put my little Tamagotchi in my pocket.
We're going to
Look
be
after
walking
my
it and following it
favorite
around, picking up its poops in plastic bags and flinging them on Shax's lawn.
I just want it to get big enough so that I can be like, hey, your mom let me like walk in her mouth and like down into this really cool space. And it was kind of a neat vibe. Can I think I can
check
check
that
that
out?
out? Think I can go in there? Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Josh says, knowing the next season will be very Ahamkara focused, do you guys reckon the next season and more importantly, the next dungeon will be Dreaming City themed? Very hopeful for a new Dreaming City dungeon with cool jumping puzzles like in The Last Wish.
It looked like it. Like the armor anyway looked very Dreaming
Does look
City.
very Dreaming City, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite locations they've ever made for Destiny.
Yeah.
To open it up again. I definitely got the impression of Dreaming City, but I don't know if that's because it was.
I'm looking forward to the dungeon.
Spice.
Dungeons are always a good time.
Yeah.
But have we ever had a dungeon that was directly linked to the season it launched with, though?
This season, Ghosts of the Deep was pretty linked, right? Question mark?
It was about the Xavier Wrath, and it was in what was the Arcology Titan.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And it's
That
usually
was a
like
really-
adjacent, you know.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, some of them have
Yeah.
been.
So the portal is Dreaming City, and looks like they're in the room at the very end where you get the loot from Last Wish. It's got all the Dreaming City statues or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where you beat Riven and you got to try to get your exotic. You pick all the different chests, and the armor looks pretty cool. Very Dreaming City as well. So yeah, I'm assuming it's Dreaming City.
Joe says, which Butlins resort would you rather go to? Skegness, Minehead, or Bognor Regis?
I've spent a lot of time in Skegness, so I'll just go there. It's not
Wait, what's the
great,
question?
but I'll go there.
I don't understand this question.
This is a lot of British things. A lot of British talk. Talking about
I couldn't tell if I
Butlins.
was reading an ad or if he was just like making stuff up.
So Butlins is a chain of seaside resorts in the UK. So it's a seaside resort that you go and stay in, and they have it's kind of like being on a cruise but on land. Like there's all the cheesy kind of shows that they do, you know, you can go and watch the people who work there do their little show.
Get like comedians and like singers and bands and stuff.
There's like one thing I care about if I'm going to a resort, and that's the food.
I don't know what the food is like. I've never been to Butlins. I don't know how good the food is, but it's for families specifically. So I assume it's probably not great.
Nah, I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't take my kids to resorts. They don't have fun. I don't have fun. I take my kids to other places. Me and my wife go to resorts.
Twab the Titan says, hello, DCP cast. Hope you all are well. With season 23 right around the corner, are you excited for the new light subclasses, or would you rather have a new darkness subclass? If the latter, what element of darkness would you want it to be?
We're not getting a new light subclass. What you talking about?
I mean, updating them.
Yeah, do you mean the supers and stuff? Like the super for the hunter
I think you're just talking about the
and
supers.
the aspect and stuff? Yeah. I'm looking forward to the hunter one. I think the hunter one looks flashy and cool and unnecessary. And I love those things.
I don't much care if it says light or dark subclass. I don't care what it's called or what alignment it has. To me, it's just, is it fun? Is it useful? Hopefully both are true.
Yeah.
I mean, Strand really changed the game for me, and if I saw a new subclass, it would need to be something like that and on that level. And I don't know what you would do. I mean, that's up to Bungie to work out.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Tough one.
How you outdo Strand, really, because that, even though I didn't like Lightfall, I played a lot of Lightfall because of Strand and what that did for the gameplay.
Yeah. You could go, because correct me if I'm wrong, aren't the darkness subclasses sort of like linked to more of less like an element, more like an emotion, you know, like a
memory.
So I almost feel like it would be really cool if they could full send on like a rage, anger subclass, and that, because in a lot of RPGs and stuff like that, you have characters that have a rage mechanic, and it starts weak, and then the more damage they do, the more it ramps up, and the stronger it gets. You know what I mean? And have it be like a red subclass, and so we got green, and we got the blue of the stasis. That could be kind of neat.
Yeah, a lot of people say like Siva or something like that. Not necessarily darkness, but like potential subclass. Nice red subclass.
I like red. It's a neat color.
It is a good color.
There's so much work that goes into creating a subclass. I mean, I don't think.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming we're not getting any more subclasses ever, but just what we're gonna get is just super updates and stuff that fits into the current sandbox.
Bugo16 says eggnog, yay or nay?
I have no idea, to be honest.
Never
I've never
tried
even
it?
know
had
what
any.
eggnog is. To be
Oh,
honest.
man.
Nobody
Yeah.
does. It just tastes good. We don't ask
What
questions.
is
We just-
Boy, I have no
eggnog?
idea what it is either.
Like this is like the consistency of mucus, but dang, if it doesn't taste good,
It's accurate.
I'll have some more of that.
Is it like it's like drinking custard, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. That sounds right. It's like really thick milk, like real
Yeah.
thick. Like might be expired
It's-
milk.
It's made with eggs, egg yolk, sugar, milk, heavy cream, and vanilla extract.
Yeah.
Okay.
And nutmeg.
There you go.
Right?
So
And
don't you guys
you
normally
can
have
add
alcohol?
nutmeg, yeah. Or cinnamon
Alcohol in it,
sticks.
or is
Yeah.
eggnog?
I've
Yes.
actually
can do
never
both.
had spiked eggnog in my life. I've just had regular nog.
Really?
I
I
gotta
don't know
try
if
that.
I've ever
with a
had
cabinet
not
of alcohol
spiked
behind it.
eggnog. I don't think I'd want to do it if it didn't have alcohol in it.
So you don't like it just on its own?
Well,
Is
I mean, I don't
eggnog
drink
one of
vodka
those,
that doesn't have alcohol in it either.
Is eggnog one of those like seasonal things that you can't
Oh,
really
yeah.
get unless
Oh
it's
yeah,
close
it's
to
totally a
Christmas?
Christmas thing.
It's a
Yeah.
Christmas thing, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Generally, I'd only see it at a holiday party. Like, it's not even like something that's just kicking around the house during the holidays. It's just at a holiday party. And usually you only have one glass.
Yeah, it's a bit heavy.
Because you get full.
Yeah.
Milky.
Yeah.
Get milky, yeah.
You get the milk
Milk.
sweats.
Milky.
Autobot Dawson says, if you were a transformer, what vehicle would you transform into?
Hmm.
Can I be like a flying saucer?
Probably a plane of some sort. Yeah.
Yeah, some kind of plane would be cool.
A flying saucer can go to like Mars and Saturn, though.
Yeah.
You know
A
what?
spaceship.
I'd go the opposite direction. Like space looks cool from a distance, but what are you really gonna do out there? There's like nothing to do out there.
Just check it out.
I want to go
think
the
there's
other
probably a
way.
lot to do.
I would be like I would be a submarine.
Scary.
You're literally the same as space, vast ocean of nothing. What are you gonna do down there? Look at jellyfish.
Yeah, I want to go down to the bottom of the trench, maybe. see what's
Mariana,
down there.
what's it called? Mariana Trench.
Yeah,
whatever it is.
Mariana's Trench.
I'm gonna turn into a horse. That's a vehicle.
All right.
Hmm.
No, you're in Beast Wars. You're in the animal spin-off of Transformers. You know what?
Dude, Beast Wars was so good, dude.
The monkey
Have you-
paw,
have you
though,
ever gone back
you're
and-
on a carousel, so you're a horse just bobbing up and down,
No.
going in circles on a carousel.
That could happen.
Have you ever gone back and watched Beast Wars and how like
The
I remember
animation
watching
looks
and thinking this is
horrible.
like cutting edge technology.
Yeah.
No, it
Oh, yeah.
never looked cutting edge. It never ever looked cutting edge.
Well,
That
I'm a
movie
bit
or that
younger
show
than
came out at
you.
the same time, like the Polar Express came out. It never looked cutting edge.
I thought it looked as Child Marlin was
Oh,
very
yeah.
excited for Beast Wars, one of my favorite shows, and I thought, wow.
Yeah,
Technology.
as a kid. Yeah, that was a banger.
You look back now, you're like, nah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the new one. Isn't there a new Transformers with the
What was-
with
There is. I haven't seen it either.
Uh,
What was the
a
by
TV
the way,
show?
what was the Velociraptor one's name from Beast Wars? He started out as a Decepticon, switched sides as an Autobot.
It sounds like he should have been a Dinobot.
He died in Autobot. This really
Don't
epic
know.
scene. Oh, that was a banger
I just remember they
episode.
had really freaking good toys, man. Like the
Oh,
proper
dude, yeah.
Transformer
Mm.
collectible.
Beast
Oh, those
Wars
were good.
toys were good.
Like
My
His
better
name was
than
Dinobot.
better than a semi? Because
Yeah.
Dinobot.
Optimus
Yeah.
Prime is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, dude. That
Yeah.
I had the 2-foot tall gorilla Optimus.
Mm.
That thing was amazing.
Wait, they
Oh.
were the same like guys, but they just transformed into
Yeah,
beasts
Optimus
instead
was a
of cars?
gorilla.
Oh, I didn't know
Yes.
that.
Oh,
It's like
wait.
all-
I think there was a spin-off about that, wasn't there? I don't know. But like the Optimus Prime of the Beast guys was the gorilla. He's like the Optimus
That
Prime
makes
of
sense.
of
I would have made him
good
the lion.
guys.
I think gorilla makes sense.
Hmm.
That checks out.
Yeah. Silverback.
Yeah.
Rick Vernhout says, what is your favorite Pope Bear and Tefty story, and how does it relate to... What is your favorite Pope Bear and Tefty story?
He almost got you.
Pope Bear is probably the Taco Bell, because he was like so adamant against Taco Bell.
Yeah.
And then when we got him to eat Taco Bell, he went more feral than I've ever seen a man go.
Yeah.
Just Taco Bell in the beard, throwing food everywhere.
And then he went like upchucked it all in this.
Yep, then he puked it all up.
Remember when Tefty made the Taco Bell logo like one of his like
He still has it as an emote.
on
Yep.
Twitch?
That's great.
Yep. For Tefty, it's probably when he was playing Death Stranding, and there's a clip of him peeing off of on a bridge. He's peeing on a bridge. And then his character slips on the pee, goes off the bridge, lands in the water. All the packages are flowing downstream. And it's just disaster after disaster. It's so funny. It's really good.
My best memory of Tefty is when chat showed me the his music video.
Oh yeah,
Whatever it was.
That's a good one.
Shake your fantasy.
Yeah, I was unaware of that, and I thought that was great.
Yeah,
that was a
great.
banger.
The banger.
Less funny. I just always appreciated Pope's approachability, because when I first started playing Destiny, I was a brand new dad, and so I joined the Dads of Destiny clan, one of them, because they had several at that point. And Pope was like admin for the whole oversight committee of all the Dads of Destiny clans. And then I saw him on the ride along at Bungie, and I just like DM'd him. I was like, hey, because he had DMs open. I was like, hey, you don't know me at all. I'm just some random dude. I'm in Dads of Destiny, and I think that you're cool. And I just want you to know that. And he was like, come play with me. I'm playing tomorrow night, and we got room in the raid team. Why don't you hop in? He didn't know me from anybody else. He didn't know me from Adam and Eve. And he's like, get in here, you know? He was always really welcoming. I always appreciated that.
He is very welcoming.
Yeah, he's super welcoming.
I miss both of those guys quite a bit.
Me too.
Autobot Dawson, I just read that. 3 Bros Wood Controller Podcast says, should pets have human names? Mylan, can you explain the lore of Bluey? Pets should have human names. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I really
It's whatever you
enjoy it.
think works.
Yeah.
Whatever they look like. Do they look like a Bob? Well, their name's Bob.
Yeah. Gladys.
The
I think it's a
issue
great
with-
pet name, Gladys.
The issue with pets with human names is like our dog's called Billy, and she's a girl, and we love the name Billy as a girl's name, and then when we're thinking of kids' names, like, well, we can't name the kid Billy because the dog's
Sure
called
you can.
Billy.
Uh-huh.
Just change the
reckon?
dog's name.
She'll continue Billy's legacy for the rest of her life. I
right.
think that's
That's right.
amazing.
You were
I
named
think this
after
is how
my
we-
second favorite dog, Billy, who was named after your first favorite. We're saving that one for the best child.
It's like when you get I had a friend like this growing up where he was the older son and his name was Jason, and then his little brother was Clark Jr. and it was like,
Named
man,
after-
Dad must have hated you. He was like, that kid is not getting my name.
That's funny.
That's amazing.
But the lore of Bluey, I don't know, but I don't know what the lore is of Bluey.
What's
I've
Bluey?
been-
Are you
Bluey's a kids' cartoon show
Oh.
that
so
is very
good.
popular in Australia. I think it was the rights were bought by Disney for
Yeah.
distribution outside of Australia, but we still have it like free to air in Australia. And yeah, it's a family of cattle
Healers.
dogs. Yeah, blue healers. Well, blue and red healers. Yeah, and they just, I don't know, do human stuff as dogs. I guess.
But it's super wholesome.
It's very
so
wholesome, yeah.
My wife cries
Yeah.
watching that show sometimes.
Yeah. It's funny because I saw like a TikToker like the pitch for Bluey. It's like, oh, this episode's called Camping. So it's about a camping trip. And they're like, no, it's actually about reconnecting with father figures and understanding the importance of grandparents. So it's like something like super deep.
Yeah. It's so true, though.
lesson.
They take like a really like deep things, but make them really palatable and relatable to kids and families. It's a really wholesome show. Yeah.
Nuge says, longtime listener, first time asking questions. Where would the team like to be in 5 years' time? Any goals you would like to achieve in those 5 years?
I have 0 goals, 0 plans. I'm doing what makes me happy.
Style.
I'm doing what makes me happy at the time, because the only thing that I can control is how I react to stuff and try to do things that make me happy. So I'm just like, hey, I'm just going to do stuff that makes me happy and have a good old time, because at the end of the day, nothing else matters. So I have a plan or hopes or dreams. You always have like little goals, you know, like, yeah, I want to get more consistent with whatever, or I want to try and pivot. I'm sure a lot of us in the Destiny community now are like, I want to pivot to variety games, or I want to try and build a YouTube channel that's focused on like this kind of game. But yeah, I'm just doing stuff that's fun and makes me happy.
Yeah, I mean, my goal is based on what's said is to not be so tied to Destiny is the only content I can make on YouTube. Because I want to keep being a YouTuber and a Twitch streamer, and I want to have it as a career. So, you know, it needs to be a bit more flexible and a bit more variety. So yeah, that's the goal. Hopefully 5 years time I'm still making content, and it's whatever makes me happy and it pays the bills.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to like look 5 years ahead of time, because I'm so like I'm in a kind of I'm really focused on like what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to buy a house that's right next to my rental property, and this is like the 3rd time I'm trying to buy it, and it's going really hard because everybody in that industry is a complete moron. So like I'm just like I'm putting like so much focus and so much time and so much energy into like buying this house. Also, I'm kind of in like a transitionary point with, well, frankly, like with this podcast, with Destiny, right? It's like, I'm looking at the final shape. I'm looking at like, you know, my relationship with Destiny, and I don't really know where that's going. I don't know what's happening, right? So, like, you know, right now, it's hard for me to look 5 years ahead of time because I'm just really focused on what's happening right now.
Yeah.
But I predict that I'll have 1 lotto, so I'll be living pretty large. I'll definitely be I'll be sending everybody on the podcast Ferraris, so we can get together for Ferrari Friday.
I love that.
Perfect.
And you know, we'll go from there.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Can you build like a highway underneath the ocean so I can drive my Ferrari to you guys as well?
I think so. Yes. We might have to win a couple of lottos for that, but next question is Rex says, "Hi DCP, could someone please explain the Patrick Crawfish story that seems to be referenced every week, or could Mylan make a lore video on the story?"
You know, that's what Mylan could pivot to, making DCP lore videos.
So I don't remember why it came up, but Patrick claimed that he could eat 15 pounds of crawfish in one sitting
by himself.
And he claimed this casually. It was not like a boastful claim. It was just like, you know, here's how you eat 15 pounds of crawfish on a daily basis, right? And we're like, wait, what?
Yes. It was very much so like this is a normal serving for a normal human.
Right.
That's a lot. That's almost 7 kilos. Okay.
15 pounds of anything weighs the same. That's a lot of pounds.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Imagine going up in weight 7 kilos after a meal.
Yeah.
True.
It's hard for me to imagine because I don't know how much a kilo weighs. I have to go by pounds. I guess 7 is 15.
It's 15 pounds.
Yeah. Now I know. But yeah, so that's the origin of that story. And then we all made fun of him for many years.
Pounders. That's eating 60 quarter pounders to get 15 pounds of meat.
Well,
so
it's
having done
yes.
further research about this extensively,
Yes.
now the
Yes.
15 pounds is weighed before they are cooked and before they are shelled or deshelled, right? So you don't eat the shells, I think.
You see,
You don't eat the
yes,
whole.
but also no. This has been an extensive back and forth of what is acceptable and what's not. Because then we asked Patrick, okay, so if you went to a restaurant, would you order 15 pounds of crawfish for yourself? And he said yes. And we were speaking to someone who is a server at a restaurant who serves crawfish. And he is like, people ordering 15 pounds of crawfish, it would be like for the table.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's when we're like, maybe it's not a reasonable amount for a human.
Wait, is crawfish the same as crayfish, and we're just saying a different, or is crawfish like quite specific?
Google them. See if they look the same.
Yeah, I think they're similar.
There's mud bugs. I had some
They're
banging
mud
crawfish
bugs.
etouffee this weekend, actually. Yeah.
Wait, how big are they though? Are they like shrimp
not-
at the barbie? They're prawns?
Yeah, they're kind of like
bigger
that.
than
Yeah.
prawns. They're
Similar,
bigger than
yeah.
prawns.
Bit bigger.
Okay. They're in between.
You just
like
said
a
shrimp on the Barbie,
crayfish
and we
a-
just like let it go. The Australians said the thing.
Right. That's a lot.
It doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter what it looks like. It's 15 pounds.
That's
It's
right.
a lot. It's a
Like,
lot.
It could be 15 pounds of like Cool Whip. You're still like, what the fuck?
So did you ever pull him up on this and got him to like eat?
Well, no,
15
because shortly thereafter he told us about the baby birding Doritos thing, and we never
Yeah.
want to see him eat anything.
Correct.
True.
Correct.
He might
Yeah, we
baby
don't-
bird the crawfish and spit it back into the shell and
Yeah, he very well may. He might. He did a stream when 3D Doritos came back out, and he streamed himself doing the baby mama birding.
He did the thing
So,
on stream.
He did the
And
thing on stream. Yeah.
It hurt my stomach. It was really disgusting. Like, no joke, just awful to watch. But you couldn't turn away, you know? Man, I really feel like that brought down the mood the whole day.
You'd be like, wow, was it just me or was the mood gone down?
Joe
He didn't
Corcoran
say that
says,
yeah, I'm just laughing that you didn't say that after you're like, I don't even know what my future is with Destiny. He never said that's a mood killer, but he's like talking about baby birding Doritos. He's like, man, someone really killed the vibe.
Joe Corcoran says, hey guys, hope all is well. Welcome back, Watts. My question is, first thoughts on Season of the Wish. I personally can't wait. Finally, the 15th last wish. Definitely looks interesting. It's a cool setup.
It seems cool. Yeah, I think the themes for all of these seasons this year have been pretty solid. And yeah, the Wish bringing back the dragons, I think it's a thing that we've all been interested in. Who doesn't like dragons? Lots of people like dragons. So
Yeah, I mean, it was the same with this season. I thought this season was great story wise. I tuned in every week. I think my relationship with Destiny is, I kind of maybe play it for a week when the new season comes out, and then I just tune in weekly after that.
Yeah.
I'm obviously not expecting anything like crazy gameplay wise, but I think it will be another interesting story that I'll tune in each week to see how it develops.
Yeah.
I'm more
Think it'd be
interested in
good.
the dungeon and how PvP plays.
Yeah,
Yes.
the dungeon.
Seasonal
Mate,
activities.
are we getting a dungeon?
I have no interest in personally.
Oh, okay, I'll do that.
Will you play the dungeon with me, Mylan? Will you come back to play dungeon?
I will play dungeon. Yes, I
Okay.
will play dungeon.
Okay,
I'll bring
fantastic.
I'll bring the Titan Hammer build, which is very flexible for every single encounter in Destiny.
Perfect.
Zachary Richards says, another food and drink rapid fire. Peaches or pears?
Bears.
Peaches. I like peach drinks. I like peach candy. I like peaches.
Okay. I like eating pears. I like peach flavored things.
Are there pear flavored things? I can't think of any. Like, is there pear flavored
Yeah.
yogurt? Like, what is pear flavored?
I'm sure. Yeah.
Just like pear liqueurs is a common
Oh, yeah, that's
ingredient in
definitely
various
true.
cocktails and stuff.
Yeah.
This is not
I
rapid
don't
fire.
really love pears or peaches. Like, my list of favorite fruits, these are like way down at the bottom. I guess I go
Peach
pears.
cobbler.
I mean, there's so much better cobbler though.
Blackberry
but,
cobbler's the king of cobbler.
That does sound right.
but are you eating pear gobbler?
No.
Blackberry cobbler's an option.
Philly or Cuban sandwich? Definitely Philly.
Yeah, I gotta go with the Philly.
I don't know what's the difference.
Philly is like a steak and cheese sandwich, and a Cuban
Okay.
With grilled peppers.
yeah,
Okay.
depending on where you get it. Cuban, if I'm not, is the Cuban the one you dip? No, that's the French dip. What is the Cuban?
Yeah.
Maybe I gotta look up a
Here we
Cuban
go.
sandwich.
A Cuban sandwich is a variation of a ham and cheese sandwich that likely originated in cafes catering to Cuban workers in Tampa or the Key West.
Okay, so I can either have
The
ham or
Philly seems
steak.
like the
I'm
best.
definitely going
Ham
steak.
and cheese. It's like a
Yeah, I'm
fancy
going
ham and
steak.
cheese.
Yeah, I'm definitely going. Sorry,
Yeah.
Cuba. I'm going with
The Philly ones are just too much, man.
It's all they got in Philadelphia. Have you ever been there?
It's too
It's
much.
terrible.
It makes me want to puke.
It's all they got.
It's too much.
I don't want to offend any Philly people because they can be rowdy, but Philly's not my favorite place to just vibe. But I like a cheesesteak.
Cream soda. Oh, okay. So cream soda Dr. Pepper or strawberry Dr. Pepper?
Cream soda, Dr. Pepper.
Hey, who asked this? Next time you put some bloody Australian questions there, I don't have any of this shit. Don't know.
I don't really like drinking any cola. I don't really care for it.
Cream soda, Dr. Pepper. It's just
Yeah,
Dr.
I got a
Pepper, but it's
Pepper
creamy.
right now. Yeah, I got to go cream soda. Rocky Road or mint chocolate chip?
Mint. I like
What's
mint.
in Rocky Road?
I don't know what Rocky
That's like
Road is.
marshmallows and shit. Right?
Yeah, it's marshmallow. Marshmallow, like nuts,
I'll go with
marshmallow
mint then.
covered in chocolate.
Yeah, I'm
Chip-
going mint.
chocolate,
I don't like all those crunchy things, the hard things in my ice cream.
I love nuts and ice cream is a great combo. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Somebody please quote that. Somebody hit that clip it button,
Listen,
please.
like butter pecan is S tier.
Cooked potatoes or deep fried potatoes? Well, shit.
Deep
I'm going
fried
baked
potato.
potato all day.
As in
I'm
like
gonna
a
fry.
French fry?
I would assume.
I mean, deep fried just like chips. Hot
Yeah.
chips, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Chips, French fries. You can even deep fry hash brown if you
Deep
want.
fried, yeah.
Go baked.
Yeah, hash brown is pretty good. Yeah, I gotta go baked though.
I'm going baked.
Sam says, what movie do you think would have the best plot for a Destiny dungeon or raid? For example, I think Die Hard is the best for the dungeon. It's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah.
Like a
pretty fun.
skyscraper. Yeah, there was. That was the Seraph Watchtower. Die
Yeah,
Hard.
yeah.
Over the top.
You can get down with some Inception vibes.
Inception would be cool.
Mind puzzler one, you know?
What was that movie with the cave? Like where there's like the spelunking teenagers and they're like a new species they discover under there that likes to eat people. Was it called The Cave? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It was an old movie.
Ooh, I don't know. The Descent.
The Descent. That's the movie I'm thinking of, I think. The Descent.
Yeah, that's what Chad said.
Oh.
Funny because Chad's answering.
Blandy McBlanderson says, hi, DCP. Where's the best starry night sky you ever saw? Where was the best starry night sky you ever saw?
Starry night sky.
I mean, when you go camping, it's always amazing.
Mhm.
It's in the southwest of Western Australia, but
I was
I'd
actually just
say-
listening to a podcast by, I think, NPR, where they went to all of the darkest spots in the continental U.S. And there's like one up in Maine. There was, I think, one in like Montana. There's a bunch of them. But they said even there, it's like you could still see lights from cities now.
Oh, man.
I spent a summer in Zambia, like in the heart of Africa,
Oh, nice.
hopping from I did some volunteer work at a number of different AIDS orphanages throughout the country. And there's like no cities anywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
you got a couple on the edges, Livingston, stuff like that, where like Victoria Falls are and whatnot. But for the most part, we're out in just the African plains, perfectly dark, beautiful
That sounds
skies.
amazing.
Yeah.
When I went to summer camp when I was a kid, we did every year a canoe trip up in Maine, and those were some dark nights. It was pretty cool. Like we're pretty sure we could see satellites like going overhead every once in a while.
Were you abducted, Briar? Because it would explain a lot.
No, all my friends weren't. I got left behind. I was like the last kid to get picked. I was really sad about that. Kaylin Eiler says, longtime listener, first time commenter. If you could design a raid boss, what sort of mechanics would you like to implement, and where would the setting of your boss fight be located?
I mean, if I could be a raid boss, it'd just be like some sort of desert kangaroo emu warfare.
Okay.
Like I'd be able to like jump really high, maybe run real fast,
and just like run us over.
Have hordes of enemies. Yeah, maybe
you could suck us into your pouch.
My pouch, yeah.
Then you gotta get out. That sounds good.
Gotta be pouch.
Some of my favorite boss fights are like retro games that have like progressive fights. Like you're not in a set arena. You think like fighting Meta Ridley, in the Metroid games, falling through is this really just chaotic, dynamic experience. You're not staying in one set.
Oh, that's a great idea.
That's why I loved so many of the Final Fantasy 16 boss fights, because like a lot of them are that. It's like 45 minutes of traveling through various different things fighting this boss. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't feel like 16 really hit that hard. Maybe just because there's so many great games right now. But man,
the boss
I love
fights
that game.
are some of the best that have ever been made. The boss fights are incredible.
That game was intense. I love it. Last question of the night. Val says, if you had one Ahamkara wish to defeat the Witness, what would you wish for? And for bonus points, how might the Ahamkaras twist your wish?
I'm going to wish to taste the Witness's head. I bet it tastes like nice cream.
Oh.
And how would it twist it?
It tastes like eggnog.
With alcohol.
Since he's like fuming, I want like a Ghostbuster style backpack that I can just suck him into.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I wonder what it feels like. Like, can we hit that? Like, get a little buzz going?
Can you hit that?
When you say
maybe,
hit that,
Bry's like, I would like the Witness as
drugs ain't free. You got to do what you got to do.
The Witness is made up of many people.
So when you phrase it that way, I picture the Witness reveal back in the day, and Briar's over there like wood.
Yeah.
Smash.
And that's gonna do it. That's Twitter questions. We have once again answered all of the mysteries of the Destiny universe. You're welcome.
Oh, you.
Let's go.
What are you guys up to the rest of the week? You got plans for the weekend? You got big plans? Going out? Having fun? Watching, go to bed?
Going to bed, attempting to be a normal human in America. That's my goal.
I'm gonna become a Suika game pro.
What is the game called again? Squeaker?
Suika.
Spell that for me.
Suika.
SUI. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I typed in SWIKA and I got a bunch of anime girls. So I was like, oh, this might be it still, though. I'm not sure.
It's like, he didn't close the tab, to be clear.
Oh, I'm seeing this further later. All right, guys. Thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye,